the proven reliability of the Catalyst 9K platform, managed and monitored by the Meraki dashboard, is a partnership we've all been waiting for. Hi there, my name is Evan Basta. I'm a TSA here at Meraki, and today I'm going to show you step by step how to monitor or manage a Catalyst 9K switch in the Meraki dashboard. Before we get started, there are some things that I want to bring up ahead of time. For one, this video is being filmed September of 2023. So as you're watching this in the future, please refer to documentation for the latest information. We're working on expanding our feature set and also expanding the amount of Catalyst devices we support. Monitoring and management require either a DNA Essentials or Advantage license. Currently, the feature offered by Meraki mirrors the Essential and Advantage tiers in the MS390 series. So as an example, on the MS390 series, we need an Advantage license for NetFlow and security group tags. It's the same with a DNA license. So if you have an Advantage license and you onboard that into Meraki, you're entitled to NetFlow and security group tags. As if you have an Essentials Catalyst 9K switch that you bring over, you're getting those essential features. All documentation listed for this video is listed in the comment section as well as the video description. So refer to the documentation as your single source of truth. This is a reference guide, and the process is subject to change as our product offering also matures. Cross-reference your documentation with your current configuration to see if this is the best step for you. Today we don't have 100% feature parity between the two platforms. If you're onboarding a switch stack, keep in mind that all stack members must have a routable IP address. This means that if you're leveraging a /29 as a transit VLAN as an example, and you're leveraging only one IP address in a Catalyst stack of 8 switches, you'll want to adjust your subnet mask depending on the amount of switches that you have in your stack. As of today, monitoring and management is not supported alongside Catalyst Center. So right now you have to choose between monitoring and or management between the two platforms. So this being said, we're going to start with monitoring. So if you're interested in management, please skip to the timestamp listed below. We don't need to monitor a switch in order to onboard it for management. So you could have one and or the other, depending on what you like to do in your network and your configuration. So we're going to start with monitoring. Right now, our eligible devices are 9200s, including the L and CX models, 9300 series switches, including the L and CX models, as well as 9500 series switches. Remember, this is filmed in September, and we're only going to expand this portfolio in the future. Our minimum software for monitoring devices is iOS XE 17.3.1. From a monitoring perspective, there are 3 big steps here that we want to make sure that we follow for pre-onboarding. We want to ensure that upstream firewall rules for cloud connectivity for both the computer and the switch is abided by on the native VLAN. On the Meraki side, you also need an organization with a switch or a combined network. So essentially, if you're a new Meraki customer and you're creating a dashboard, just ensure that that dashboard has either a switch network or a combined network that exists within that organization. You'll need an API key as well from a full admin. For a detailed guide, please follow the cloud monitoring for Catalyst eligibility requirements for onboarding documentation, listed in the comment section as well as the video description. Common changes include enabling routing on your Cisco switch and ensuring that device user credentials must have an iOS XE privilege level 15 access. Note that, as of today, only the default VRF is supported, so if you're leveraging multiple VRFs, that's something that you might want to re-engineer and change if monitoring. Also, radius authentication is currently not supported. With this out of the way, we're going to transition into sharing my screen and showing you step by step of how this is done. Now I have 2 applications in front of me. I'm using PuTTY to console into my switch as well as the cloud monitoring for Catalyst software that I downloaded from one of the documents here for onboarding devices for monitoring. So I am entering the enable commands and entering the password to then get into the switch to show our configuration. I will show you the version to confirm that we have at least version 17.3.1 installed. And as you see, we have 17.12.01 running. Now, instead of showing you the whole configuration file and having to scroll up and find bits of information in that, I will just show you a run view, including the username, to show that we are using a username named test with a privilege of level 15. Also, I am doing a show run view to show you IP routing as well. So with IP routing enabled, we are then able to begin the process here for onboarding a switch for monitoring. Now I'm going to copy and paste our API key into the Cloud Monitoring for Catalyst dashboard here, and I'm going to select the network that I want to use here. For this, and I'm sorry, that's an organization. So from here, we're going to enter the test username and password, as well as the Cisco enable password as well, if that is on your switch. Now I'm going to be entering the IP address of the switch as well. And after this, we are going to start SSH authentication. Now you're going to see some data come through on the console side from the API and the link that's established between the switch, the dashboard, and this application. So going to our pre-check configuration, we're going to start pre-check, and we're going to see some more data appear on the console side. And so from here, this is going to essentially check that our switch has all the configuration necessary to monitor on the dashboard. Once that is complete, we could also assign that switch to a network. So we're going to go to the home network and then press next. We're going to add this switch, press next, apply our configuration, and here we go. This may take a minute or two, and you'll see some more information appear on the console side of the CLI of our switch. From here, this might take a minute or two for configuration to appear on the Meraki dashboard. Now, going to our dashboard, you see that the switch is a monitor only from that tag. And you'll see if I go to a switch port that there is no pencil icon by configuration. So this is, once again, proving that we are in monitor only. Now, it's going to take some time for the information to appear, link ports, clients running through it, etc. So just keep that in mind, and we'll take a minute or two for that information to appear. At this point of the video, I'm going to show you step by step how to take a Catalyst switch and migrate it to the Meraki dashboard for management. So we have select 9300 series models as of today that we could manage on the Meraki dashboard, and they are listed below. Firmware management is going to be iOS XE version 17.10.1 or later. So if you're leveraging anything earlier than that, you will have to upgrade to 17.10.1 or later firmware version. Keep in mind that as of today, Catalyst configuration is not saved when migrating to the Meraki dashboard for management. Essentially, what you could do is you could leverage pre-existing APIs to automate your configuration once the switch is onboarded onto the Meraki dashboard. Our primary documentation that we're going to be leveraging for this is Getting Started Cisco Catalyst 9300 with Meraki dashboard, listed both in the comments as well as in the description of this video. For pre-onboarding, we want to ensure that our switch has a routable IP address to the internet that can resolve DNS names. This could be such as an SVI we could use for this. The switch's native VLAN should have upstream firewall rules for cloud connectivity enabled. The Meraki organization should have a switch or combined network as well. So the process for migrating a switch to the Meraki dashboard is in 3 simple commands. And for this, I'm also going to share my screen to show you these commands live while we're onboarding the switch for management on the Meraki dashboard. For management, I am using PuTTY, and I am also using a console cable directly into the switch. So I have entered the enable command on the switch, and I'm entering our first of 3 commands called show Meraki compatibility. This will show us that the 9300 I'm using is compatible, as well as the bootloader version I have is compatible as well. If I have a network module, it will also show that information as well. And we see also our compatible SKUs as well as network modules that we support today. Great, so we're going to issue the service Meraki register commands, and you're going to see a Meraki ID appear. We're going to copy and paste that Meraki ID, and then we're going to transition over to our Meraki dashboard. And under Organization Configure, we're going to go to our inventory, and we're going to claim this serial number that was generated from the Catalyst switch. We're also going to add that to our network, which is a combined network or a switch network. Switching back over to the console, we're going to issue our final commands, which is the service Meraki start. Now this command, and I'm going to speed up the video about 10 times speed right now. It takes about 5.5 minutes when I did it, but this is going to essentially reboot the switch a couple of times, install Meraki OS on top of iOS XE, and then once this is done, we'll be able to see that the switch appears online just like it would in MS390 or another Catalyst or Meraki model on the dashboard. So now that this is done on our side, we're going to transition back over to the dashboard, and you will see that this switch comes online. It's a 9300 24-port switch. We have our uplink enabled, and from here, if I were to click that uplink, you could see that we can edit those ports because it is in management mode on the Meraki dashboard. And that's it. That's how you monitor and manage a Cisco switch in the Meraki dashboard. Hope this was very informative, as it was for me throughout the process, and I hope to see you over on the Meraki dashboard. Thank you so much.